How's it going, people? Right, as much as it's been sunny recently, it's really wet today where I am. Obviously I'm talking ahead of myself here, but I needed to get my Cambelt done, so and managed to blag my brother's driveway. Killed two birds with one stone because one of my other brother's wedding's coming up, so we went on and tried some suits on. Which, you know, I kind of thought I looked a bit dapper, a little bit dapper, you know, put on a nice suit, but yeah, and my Cambelt needed doing. Intervals are 55,000 miles, which to me, in my head, I went like, that's a bit early, isn't it? You know what I mean? But 55,000 mile or every 5 years or something like that. But she's coming up to the 55,000 mile. Now, you'll see for yourself that it actually didn't even look that bad, but yeah. I managed to get my brother's driveway. He's a top mechanic tutor at JLR, so he knows what he's talking about. Do you know what I mean? You know what he's talking about. And he's got an air compressor, which is what I needed to get the bottom crank pulley off. I don't have them kind of tools to hand to take that to take that off. There's a lot of torque in that, and plus you want to spin it off, not just try and wangle it off with a spanner. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to turn the engine round. So yeah, it was good to spend some time with my brother. But yeah, let's get into today's video, and we'll go from there. I'm not entirely sure how in depth I'm going to go with it. Obviously, I don't do tutorials. None of my videos are tutorials as such. I just a little day in the life, kind of what I need to get done, you know. So it's just ticking things off the list. But yeah, let's get into today's video, and I'll catch you guys in a little while. So first part of this job is getting this front end stripped down. Now, I should have learnt my lesson the first time when I did this, to grease everything up when I put it back together again. So it's not surprising that I had a few bolts that were giving me a bit of jib. So yeah, a lot of WD-40, and yeah, I slowly worked my way through it. Managing not to break any more. And not only that, I broke last time. Nothing that's going to make anything loose or anything like that. Don't worry. Just a little stupid little clips and stuff like that. But there's always ways around that. So to start with, it's taking the headlights out. Be getting the battery out. Now, luckily with these Ivecos, it's not too hard to get the whole front end off. Now, it is a bit of a faff, especially if you've got an old wagon. Like I say, you can get stuck on seed stuff. But yeah, it's just a case of getting this front bar off and stripping down a bit at the top end, taking the intake off, the intercooler and the radiator, and yeah, just trying not to break anything. That's what I'm trying to do.
I wait for someone to save. I want to tell you something new. You drove us both into a wall. I drive away into the night, and I contemplate for a while. Don't you think about it before the best? If I track my stuff, I ain't sooner than this. Don't you think about it before the best? If I track my stuff, I ain't sooner than this. Don't you wish I would have been someone else? I want to feel your gap without making a mess. And you, why won't you tell me something new? I want to tell you something new.
Now with the front end off, it gives me more space. Now dropping the coolant. Now I'm trying to get it in a bucket, but let's be honest, I think I got 70% of my coolant in that bucket. But it's nice to see that my coolant's nice and clear and not full of crap. One thing I have noticed on the records of the van or forums of the Iveco is quite a lot of them end up building up quite a lot of rust and crap in the coolant system. Now this is a great time to flush your system and get it all cleared out and start fresh. And I definitely got a lot of that on the driveway. Sorry, bro. So with the lower hose off, just a case of getting the upper one off, and then we're not far off lifting this radiator out. So we need to get to the front of this engine. So a couple of bolts holding the radiator in, sort of sliding it over the fan and pull it out. Now I'll save you the noise of the air compressor, but it's off with the fan. Usually these are a left-hand thread, so bear that in mind before you start wangling it in tighter and tighter. Potentially some people just snap them off, thinking in their right-hand thread. And with a little wiggle, the fan will come off. Now, Tom then strip down the top end, which would just be the intake pipe and the plastic engine cover on the top. If you haven't seen my video already, I did the cam cover gasket on this before. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, but as my brother's just said then, don't forget to plug your holes. You don't want anything nasty going down that intake pipe. That could cause you big issues. So out with the big Ugga Dugga gun and get that bottom crank pulley off. Then it will give us access to the cam belt underneath. So we got to start taking all the fittings off now for the plastic cover that protects it.
Put these back in us.
Sorry, say again?
Bottom left,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and top right.
yeah. So I just got it on record. Just in case, you know. just, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, that was stupid. Right?
Say that again.
Say that again, so I got on record.
Play it back.
So play it back. What was it?
You
Top
just
right,
saved us
bottom
having to
right.
take them back out again later when we put the cover on.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So one thing on the list that I was meant to do last time was the front crank seal. And then with me having done the rocker cover gasket not long ago, doing this seal as well, should have no more oil leaks. And there we have it, new crank seal fitted. Now some cam belt kits come without a new tensioner, but while you're there, it's worth just replacing. So here I am doing cam belt, right, and then check this out, look. Go on, lad. Go on, lad. Go on, give it to her. Give it to her. Hey? I've got two bees having sex. Look.
Oh yeah, then we took them out.
So anyway, do you know what I mean? I'm doing this and out of nowhere, you know, you pick a place to do it. It's like a view, do you?
Did it from free porn? Or should we
Dirty
call it,
bastard.
or should we call it bee porn?
Bee porn. Oh, she flew off. Done his deed. You left a mess on my van. So on with a set of a new cam belt guide pulleys. You know, it's nice to have a helping hand sometimes, especially when it's your brother. And that's a new cam belt on. These belts are not actually that hard to do, to be honest with you. They're all marked up. If you do a little bit of research, you'll soon figure it out. It's not that complicated, but we're looking good. So now let's put this big old beast back together again. And yes, during this time lapse the van is running. It sounds lovely. Yeah, before anybody starts questioning why, you check it before you put it back together. I have checked it, it's running. It's got coolant in it now and it's getting up to temperature and just bleeding all that air out. But yeah, where was we? Let's take it for a spin. Let's take it for a spin. Come on. You're right. And this is the reality of living in a van. Obviously, with all my belongings in here and all my tools and stuff like that, you know, we're going to have squeaks and rattles, especially being a 22-year-old van. All the dashboard plastics will rattle and stuff like that. So I've tried to eliminate that, but this is why I fitted a big sound system. It drowns it all out. But nonetheless, the van is running smoother than ever. Like, it's like when it was sat at idle, it just purrs now. Oh, you know what? It's just nice to tick those things off the list, you know, just in preparation for future adventures. Wow, test drive complete. I'm going to call that a win. Right, I'm going to chill with my brother for a bit and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Good morning, people. Good morning. Yeah, today we're going to try and sort out my exhaust. Now, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do yet, but as you're probably already aware from my previous video, I refuse to spend 300 and something pound on a silencer. Makes no sense to me, makes no sense. So, I'm going to try and make something work. So, sweating. So, I've been looking around at motor factors around here and it's going to cost £1 million to get an exhaust. I said £1 million. First place was trying to cost me, was it 200 quid for the silencer? And then it was no like 60 quid for like the end bit and then the flexi section, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, then I rang around a few exhaust places thinking, you know what, I'll just pay an exhaust company just to put a cheap exhaust on. It's not much, it comes from the silencer, the flexi section down to the silencer and out the side. It's not a lot. No, they were 400 or 500 quid. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? So I managed to find pretty much a full system in bits on eBay. Comes to a total of about 240 quid or something. That's flexi section, from manifold, flexi section, silencer, end can out the side. Comes to about 240 quid. So all in all, not that bad. But the only downside of that is it's not going to turn up till, what's it say, 23rd to the 30th. And I need to use my van. Do you know what I mean? And it's not getting any better. As you've seen from that video, it's sliding back and forth in the silencer. So my theory is, come to my mate's garage, fixed his welder, only a gasless welder, I've just disconnected all my batteries. Yeah, and then I'm gonna try and weld it. I mean, I am welding rust and I will be throwing it at it, so we'll see how well that goes. Just for the time being, I'm not trying to get it sealed, I'm just trying to get it so I don't fall off, do you know what I mean? Or rattling around, because at the minute I turn the engine off, it's like ting 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 ting, and I start up, ting 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 ting, what the fuck? So, yeah, we'll start with that and we'll see what happens. So as you can see from this, my exhaust is not doing very well. It's blowing out all the seams now, you know, it's looking a bit paper thin in places. The end part has got like little pinholes in it all over the place. So as I said before, I'm not trying to re-weld this and make it perfect. I'm just trying to make it do for now until the new exhaust turns up. I don't know, naughty me, I haven't got a mask, so it's just going to be a case of not looking at it, you know, looking away, closing my eyes. You know, I've done welding for many years, don't get me wrong. I know the score and I know the consequences of what happens when you don't use a mask. Our car here is nothing to be messed around with, you know, it's a serious thing and it only sets in when you hit night time, but I'm going to be alright, don't worry.
All
Why is it one thing after another? Why does this world hate me? I've got to laugh, otherwise I'll cry. Just like, one thing after another. So the past couple of months, every now and again I'll start my van and a little puff of smoke will go out the side of the exhaust, which I wasn't really concerned about, you know. It sort of cleared up the minute you set off. But now it seems to do it every time I sit at traffic lights or I sit, you know, in traffic, and then I go to pull off again. And it's just like, I mean, in my mechanical mind, I'm thinking oil stem seals. So the oil's just seeping in to the cylinders, and then when you give it some reams or you rev it up, it's just dripping and smoking. Oh. And a new thing as well, which has happened, well, creatively got worse and worse and worse to the point now where it needs a new one. Like, my left indicator's fucked. So, you see if I indicate right here, you'll see it indicates on the screen, if here. I don't know if you can see that up there. But if I indicate left, it works, and then it only works properly if I hold it down. Oh, there you go, that works. And then a little tap, and then it's off again. See? It's just one thing after another. I mean, we'll see if you can... I've let my van tick over, just sitting here for 2 minutes, just to see what happens when I press the throttle now, because I've just done a half an hour drive. And yeah, like, she shouldn't smoke, but she does. And it's not great. Let's see, let's see. Fuck's sake, man. I know I said I was going to try and stop swearing so much, but literally one thing after another. Oh, I don't want my videos to be depressing, but fuck me, is my life depressing sometimes. You want it real, you got it real, alright? You want it real, you got it real. Oh, God's sake. So, that could be one of a million things. Like, I know people are like, oh, it's smoking, that means your turbo, or that means this, that means that. Now, I don't think it's my turbo. I think my turbo is perfectly fine. And I've checked all the pipes and there's no seepage of oil or anything like that. So my next sort of idea in my head, being the mechanical mind that I am, obviously people might tell me differently on here, people might tell me different, but obviously we don't know until we've dived in, do we? So we can't just assume, right? I've learnt that, you can't just assume shit. So it could be valve stem seals knackered, seeping, so there's literally the oil is creeping past the valve and then going into the cylinder when I'm on idle, and when my engine's off, obviously all the oil in the cam, around the cam, just seeps down through, and then it's in the cylinder, and then when you give it the beans it burns it off and it goes and the blue smoke comes out. Worst case scenario, which is not most uncommon thing on one of these, is a cracked block. Now I'm really hoping that's not the case, because it's really weird. I'm not losing any oil and I'm not losing any water, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to start just digging in and seeing what's going on. I mean, keep an eye on it. I mean, it did do it a couple of months ago and it was a bit like, that's questionable, but today that was bad. Like, that's not good. That's not good. I don't know if I can really caught it on this camera, but I'll show you off my phone, in a video on my phone as well. Yeah, not good, not good. But I don't mean to leave another video on a negative note, but I think I'll leave that one there. So yeah, today we've had it all in. You know, it's been good and bad, I guess. You know, I wanted to get weld something on my exhaust. Ended up working out that it was easier just to buy the parts off eBay, but I might have to wait a week or two, so I ended up welding this one. And then we have smoky exhaust, then we have dodgy indicator. Oh my god, like, I think it was only 2 weeks ago I was like, ah, my van is mint, no problems, and I've got a gearbox leak, which is only getting worse as well, which I'm pretty sure which is the seal inside. Oh, the bell housing on the shaft. Oh dear. Well, it is what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, people, if I don't end up going to doing the France, Spain, Portugal thing in September, I might do it in the winter instead, because yeah, I don't know with the position I'm in at the minute. I can't really justify anything. Well, the position I'm in at the minute, if I continue as I am now, I ain't going. Do you know what I mean? I ain't going. And to be honest, with work being a little bit quiet, and I know some people are like, yeah, there's work up here, there's work up there, but if I've got to travel 6 hours to get to a job or 4 hours to get to a job, and it's took pretty much all the money out of it by getting there, it sort of just cancels itself out, doesn't it? So it ends up being a bit pointless. Yeah, I think, to be honest, right, do you know what's going on now? I think when I first started doing this, and I was a mobile mechanic / help with van builds, when I first started doing this, the first 2 years, mint. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there was that many people getting out that was doing what I was doing, especially all over the country. But I have noticed there's a lot more people doing it now. There's a lot more people jumping on this bandwagon and just literally just, yeah. So I don't know, people say, oh, competitors is good. I was like, well, yeah, in a way it is, but in a way it's not, because when there's so many people, and there's a lot of people doing shit work as well, right? There's a lot of people doing dodgy work to people's vans and getting them to pay for it. And they think it's great until somebody like me comes along, or someone else comes along that actually knows what they're looking at, sees that van and goes, what is going on here? Do you know what I mean? I've seen some shocking stuff. But yeah, I think that's the kind of struggle I've got at the minute, and I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to shut my business down. I think I'd just trickle it there, but I might see about getting or working for somebody and just sort of getting the money together, you know, just for the next like 2 months, just get some good chunk of money together so I can disappear. I'm not saying it's going to be a permanent thing of me working for somebody else, because that I couldn't do it. I'm just talking finding somebody that's, you know, I can tolerate it, or somebody I know, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I have to have the question around and see what's going on, and spread the word, I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm having a bit of a brain fart day. Things have just gone from shit to shit. But I'll leave that one there, people, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Ta-da.